Throughout the years, there have been numerous times when people either directly call out or accuse the United States government of knowing more than they are letting on about aliens and UFOs. With claims that events have been hidden or covered up, witnesses to them disappearing, and government figures refusing to even acknowledge anything about the event in question. Some examples of this were in 2009 when former astronaut Edgar Mitchell accused the United States government and NASA that they were blocking information about alien visitation, and that it was time for them to release the information and make it public, because the American people have a right to know about any and all possible threats to their safety. In his own words, he was quoted as saying, "We are being visited. It is now time to put away this embargo of truth about the alien presence. I call upon our government to open up and become part of this planetary community that is now trying to take our proper role as a spacefaring civilization." Another example is when earlier this year in June, when the Navy released previously classified footage of a UFO in 2004, while pilots were on a training mission, the strange craft seemed to move at speeds that had the jets struggling to keep up with and pulling very tight and abrupt maneuvers that even seasoned pilots would deem practically impossible to accomplish. And now, just this past week, when a former Israeli space security chief made the claim that aliens do exist and that the United States government, particularly Donald Trump, knows about it and has for a while. The former security chief, Haim Assad, claimed that communication between humans and a galactic federation have been made and that they are not yet ready to announce their arrival to the rest of society. He also added that this federation was curious to understand and learn about humans and were seeking to understand the fabric of the universe. In today's video, we will examine this claim made by a well-respected member in the space community and the Israeli military. Are the things that Haim is saying true? And if so, why have we not heard more of this sooner? Does President Trump really know of this, and is he hiding it from the American people? How many other countries' leaders have this information, and do they know more than Trump? Let's find out as we discuss if we have been contacted by a galactic federation. The story begins when, just last week, Haim made claims about aliens being real, and both himself, the Israeli government, and President Trump know all about it and are very aware of the ongoing developments. Going as far as stating that he was taking his time before even mentioning it due to the public's safety in mind. Haim said that he has known about this for some time and that he is very aware of how it sounds, that he could possibly lose all of his credibility for speaking out about a topic that many people around the world would deem as crazy ramblings from an old man who has spent too much time reading conspiracy theories. He also states that another reason he has kept his mouth shut about this was due to the public's reaction. He was worried that releasing this information could cause possible mass panic, and given the events that have happened in the world in 2020, that may be the last thing that we need right now. And honestly, he has a solid point with making that argument. We have wondered about for many years if we are in fact alone. There have been countless movies, TV shows, books, video games, and more made about the concept of alien life being out there, and a higher power or organization are very aware of it and are simply keeping it a secret for their own selfish reasons. But perhaps the reasons are not entirely selfish. Haim makes a very good point because we don't exactly know how the general public would react to this type of groundbreaking and history-making news. You can't just look at this from one side either. You need to take into account what people would make of this information in both a religious and scientific perspective. Would people see this as a sign from a higher power that the end of days is upon the world, and who knows what kind of danger that would create? Or would people be welcoming to the idea? And I think the best answer is to look at how we as a species have had any type of major change, and typically it is met with violence. Unfortunately, we are known for our hostility towards not only our own kind, but also the animal kingdom and Mother Earth as well. I don't mean to sound like I am rambling here, but I think it is very important to look at all sides of this. The news of alien contact, and on top of that, an alien federation is huge, and if true, would change the course of history forever. And I think that it would be in both a positive and negative way. More on that though later. Haim also went on to discuss that there is an agreement between the United States government and this galactic federation that gives aliens the right to conduct various experiments on Earth. Now, I am not sure if that means it is strictly tied to just the United States or the entire planet, but I have a hard time seeing how one country can be the voice for every other country that calls Earth home. So, if it is just tied to the United States, then why? And what kind of experiments are going to be conducted? On plant life, animals, humans, or all of them? Could these experiments be as simple as collecting soil and flowers, or could it be more violent, by seeing how much a human being could take before they die, or react in a hostile way? I am sure that the United States government have taken this into consideration, as giving another species free rein to do whatever test they would like could easily have negative repercussions. And I think that the last thing that the United States government wants right now would be an intergalactic war. Haim has also said that aliens are waiting for humans to grow as a species before making their presence fully known to everyone. What they could mean by that could be a number of things. We may need to increase our intelligence as a whole, or we could actually need to evolve. But into what exactly? It is also said that we need to further our understanding, and while that makes sense, granted yes, we do know a lot about space, but given that space in theory could possibly be endless, then how would we even go about learning about something that has no end? Or does this alien federation simply want us to know not how planets work, but more so how the life on those planets work? We could be looking in the right direction, yes, but we could be missing the bigger picture altogether. Several people in both the White House and the Pentagon were asked to comment on this story, but all refused to talk about it. And this only builds the hype that what Haim is saying may actually be the real deal. It seems to be a common trait in history that whenever something groundbreaking happens, many heads in government do not acknowledge anything about it until years, if not decades later, which by then, much of the hype and interest has died down. Another interesting piece of information that Haim mentioned was that there is a secret underground base on Mars in which acts as a housing area for United States representatives and aliens to meet and discuss future plans. He, however, had no information on what these plans could be. All of this extraordinary information has made a lot of waves across the UFO community, and for good reason. It is very rare in which a high-ranking or highly respected and credible member of the government steps out and blows the whistle on something this big. But what I keep going back to is that what Haim said about humans needing to be ready and understanding the impact of this claim, that aliens are in fact real, and that members of the United States government know about it. Something I wondered was all of the countless UFO videos that are available online from both recent and very old. This channel has talked about numerous of them, and could it be that aliens were in fact showing themselves? Perhaps that was part of their contract, that they could be visible for only a short amount of time. But the videos that are out there with this footage, could it have been a test of some kind, to see how humans would react to seeing something not of this world? Would they be on board with it and believe what they were seeing? Or would they doubt it and think it was simply a fake and not give it another thought? Would that type of mindset impact on the aliens' decision to show themselves to our species? Is the government, who for so long have refused to acknowledge any type of talk about aliens existing, be a part of that test? If the leaders of the countries all around the world know this, are we expected to simply fall in line, or are we supposed to question and argue it with them with our own counterpoints? Is there an underlying means to what we have been speculating for decades? There will absolutely be updates to this story, and we are going to stay on top of it because I do not think we have heard the last of this. As I mentioned, this is getting a lot of traction on Twitter and various news sources, and I think that this is only the start of something potentially very big. What do you think? Do you think this could be real? Have the United States government been in contact with aliens? And do you think there was a contract signed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, as we really want to keep this conversation going. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you all in the next one.